Oh, so they can't hear us, though. Okay. I mean, they shouldn't be able to hear us during this. I think we're all muted during that.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to OCC Scrims. We are running a little bit of an exhibition game tonight before we kick off the season for real with Queensguard and Project Proteus. And tonight I am joined by Widow Faker. Widow, how you doing?
I'm good, Dank. How are you?
Absolutely fantastic.
Woo! That's good. It's been so long, Dank. I've missed talking games with you.
It's been a minute.
It's been a hot minute, yeah.
It's been a minute since I've even done this, so...
Same. Get ready for the ship ahead. It's about to be rocky.
As our teams try to figure out what the first map is, let's talk a little bit about these teams. Widow, what do you know about each side?
Well, Queensguard was my original gold team back when it was Rebellion and then Titans, so I know quite a few of these players. And even the ones I don't know, like that weren't on my team originally, I have befriended and loved them to death, so I know them really well. Project Proteus, I know a couple people, not too many of them, but they're both really strong teams, and they both, they practice a lot, they work hard together, so we'll see what comes out. But Queensguard was the team to beat last season, so we'll see if they're going to hold up that title this season.
Well, it sounds like we are in for a good match tonight then, Queensguard and Project Proteus, and we are going to be starting off on Volskaya. What kind of strats do you like to see on Volskaya Industries?
Personally, I just hope this doesn't turn into Drawskaya or, 17-round Volskaya, which it always does for me. But I really like seeing the Symmetra teleporter. I really like that on this map. It's a really good play when you either teleport to the middle building, right behind them and drop on point and bunker up. I like the Bastion here. I like the... I actually really like Ryan Zarya on attack here. It's really strong. You play that aggression really well. There's honestly a lot of things you could do here. You can meme it up and just really hold this really strongly. You can get a really strong pharmacy shooting over the top of that initial arch rather. There's a lot you can do here. It's just a matter of seeing what the enemy is playing and just playing against them. Their spawn is so far away on defense that you're just able to just go back to spawn and just hard counter them as soon as you come in.
We are going to be seeing Ryan Zarya on both sides, getting away from a little bit of that double shield meta. We are going to have Kazame coming on the Mei and Hanzuki on the Reaper for the defensive side, with Waddle Dee on the Mei and Milky playing that Doomfist. So Reaper, Doomfist, really the only big differences here. I mean, yeah, supports, but supports can either hit or miss, depending on how effective they are.
Agreed.
As Project Proteus wrapping around that left side, it looks like One Rat Kid going to be shielding his team into that left side room as Milky trying to get just a little bit of poke damage as Dose and Cheese gets extremely low, but is going to end up living and taking out Hanzuki in the process. It's going to be a huge pick for the side of ProPro, and this is going to be their time to go in. Milky now taking out high ground is going to look to force the team of Queensguard out of where they want to be, and Kazame getting frozen now inside of the Immortality field, but that is enemy Immortality, unfortunately, as Kazame is looking pretty low and frozen right now. This is going to be a solid point win for Project Proteus already. What up?
Oh, sorry. The loss of Hanzuki in the beginning of that fight really hurt Queensguard. They didn't have that big source of damage, which is the Reaper. And then on top of that, Neitho went for the pin on One Red Kid, which is great to get the run out of the fight, but he left his entire team vulnerable without that shield. And against the main of Doomfist, you're just going to get deleted, especially with a Mercy with that Doomfist, or a Mercy with that Ryan or that Zarya. Just constantly going to be an advantage because of that power boost, but looks like they're going off point 2 now, so let's see what happens here.
Pinning out that Ryan can be really crucial, but you really have to be careful on when to do it. It looks like we are going to have Hanzuki trying to pressure off the Mei here from Waddle Dee, but ended up burning Wraith form there just to get out alive, as Nathal trying to take on that Doomfist 1v1, and Milky now coming in, getting the punch onto Hanzuki, but immediately falling to overkill Zarya as Nathal gets frozen and getting pocketed by that Coalescence, so he does not fall to One Rat Kid as the huge shatter comes out from One Rat Kid, going to be swinging away. The Male now coming out from Waddle Dee, going to be able to pretty much clean this point up. Overkill going to be the only one standing on that point now, as Hanzuki and Kazame are going to be able to come in and clean up pretty much everything. Project Proteus is going to fall one by one.
That freeze from Waddle would have been huge if his team was able to follow up on it, but unfortunately the aggression coming in from Queensguard just didn't allow that. Neithel did try to shatter, but ended up getting frozen while he shattered, so they weren't able to do anything with that either. But the coalescence from quaking was huge to keep them up there. We also see that Red also used his shatter, and he got a couple people, but again, there was no follow-up. So they want to be careful when they're using ults here to make sure that they are getting value out of them.
Gonna be looking for that Grav window combo. Gonna be able to burn that down extremely quickly if the Grav gets enough people and the window comes out quick enough. So that's really the combo that I'm going to be looking for here. But Chibi Kitty does have the beat, and Hanzuki also having the Reaper ult.
Yeah.
Now, go ahead.
You're good. I was going to say, there's a lot of ults on Lars here. And if they do grab window, they're going to be able to almost burn through that beat drop very, very quickly with the right combos, with the right use of that window. But we'll see if they're able to get value out of it again.
Not a whole lot happened there. One Rad Kid trying to go in just a little bit too aggressive, ended up getting picked off, and honestly, the team of Project Proteus making the right call to try to just back off here, but this is going to be a huge freeze and Graviton Surge, but there comes the ultimate from Kazame picking off One Rad Kid. Now the counter grab coming out from Overkill, gonna get the Death Blossom shut down. Hanzuki getting taken out by Milky with the right click there by the Kree, as Mei and Zarya now coming in trying to take over this point. Ends up taking out Chibi Kitty on the Lucio, now freezing out Overkill on that Zarya, as the High Noon taking out Quaking Punch out of Coalescence. This is going to be a huge fight starter for them, as this fight is really taken underway, and One Rad Kid getting the pin onto Nathal, now going to be pretty helpful on point, as only Chibi Kitty is the sole survivor here for Queen's Guard. Now Quaking Punch coming on, as Hanzuki's trying to get a little bit of that poke damage, but not able to do too much here yet. One Rad Kid just swinging away onto that Zarya of Overkill, and now the Doomfist coming out from Kazame, as the window is going to get popped for all of that extra healing and damage from the Baptiste. But the charge from Nathal is going to end up taking out Sniv and Dose of Cheese, so that's going to be huge fix there for Nathal. And now going to be swinging away onto One Rad Kid, going to end up winning that fight, and that looked very promising for Bropo, but ended up turning around Queen's Guard.
There was a lot going on there. I really want to see both of these Meis get better uses out of their walls. Or I guess we're off the other Mei now. But they're not really using them. There was one really good wall from Waddle actually blocked Neethel's Shatter. It was really, really great. I do want to see Neethel playing a little less aggressively here. He is so able to protect his team and do so much for them. It was really good to see Kazame swap onto that Doomfist as well. He did a lot of work there.
The Doomfist definitely came in clutch, being able to get all of that damage onto the Reaper there. Or, sorry, not the Reaper, the Rhino.
Yeah.
And really take them out of that fight. So now Hanzuki getting that early pick onto Doshin Cheese is gonna force Project Proteus to use that res, and now they're gonna be able to push into that right side, as Doomfist gonna look for one. And Quaking Punch also getting Waddle Dee, but there comes the Shatter, and the Shatter doesn't do a whole lot, but it does end up taking down One Rad Kid. But One Rad Kid still standing strong as the Coalescence comes out from Quaking Punch. Going for the punch, and a huge Shatter ended up getting 3 there, but not quite killing anyone. Overkill and Nathal are both going to fall to One Rad Kid, as the Bob comes out and is going to save the point from any more aggression there.
60 seconds.
Both of these teams are kind of using their ults funny. They're using a lot of them at once, but they're starting to sort of even out here. I'm really liking the aggression coming from Kazame and the Doomfist, making a lot of space for his tanks. He's doing a lot to keep his team up and in the fight. Sorry, I'm like trying to camera around. I really also want to compliment Quaking Punch here. He's doing a really good job as Moira, like balancing between the DPSing and the healing, keeping his team up when the point is lost. I think at one point it was just him and Hanzuki, and he held it by himself, and that's really awesome. It's good to see. Playing really well. Let's see what happens here, if they're able to cap it or not.
Milky ended up burning that Doomfist ult and switching over to the Reaper, kind of just beating it out, and I'm not really sure why he did that, but the Reaper switch is going to be good here, but ends up getting picked off by Hanzuki going for the flank. The double grab now, one into a freeze, and Nathal, Chibi Kitty, and Overkill are all in trouble now, with Kazame coming around from the Doomfist, but ends up getting charged out by One Rad Kid, and is going to end up getting deleted off of that wall. And now Chibi Kitty, Hanzuki, Quaking Punch, the last 3 on point for the side of Queensguard trying to hold on just a little bit. Quaking Punch doing a really good job avoiding all of that damage, and now Milky's trying to come around from the flank to get those supports, but actually ends up going for the Zarya, and that might have been the mistake that causes them this match as Nathal comes in and cleans up about 3 or 4 there, gonna finish up that fight for the side of Project Earth. Yes.
That, oh my gosh, they should have won that. That was, I think there was 2 people on point versus 5. Hanzuki came in clutch there. Him and Quaking Punch came in there. They're like a dynamic duo. It's a Moira and an Ashe, and you're thinking, no, this is over. This is over. And it's not. They took it back. They got good picks. Pick on the Mei really quickly. Deleted that Reaper before he can get in and hurt them. You know, it was huge plays here. They were doing a really, really good job. They saved this point for their team on multiple occasions. I just want to see better communication coming off from Pro. You could tell that they could win these fights. They have them 2v5s or 2v6s, and they lose them because they're just not target focusing. They're taking too long to kill things, and Queensguard is just able to get their team back on the point and take back over. Just a little bit of communication, a little bit of call-outs will, you know, win them this fight. They were on top so many times.
And it sounds dumb, but like Hanzuki and Quaking Punch being on that Ashe and the Moira, the Ashe able to get people very low and sometimes not able to finish them off, but the Moira being able to do just that little bit of damage with either a damage orb or the right click is able to, you know, finish off just that little touch of damage, able to get around the shields really easy, where Hanzuki might have some problems getting around those shields if he's holding that high ground. So that turned out to be a really good combo for them. Those luckily being the 2 heroes that were left on point 2 or 3 times that it happened, and able to turn around those fights really strong. We are going to see Rein Zarya again from both sides, but on the side of Queensguard, we're going to have a Sim Bastion on attack, and that's a lot of damage coming out already from Waddle Dee, already at 36%, as Milky's looking for a flank here as soon as Queensguard is looking to take it into that choke.
It looks like they're going to do exactly what I love to see. That's go right up and over, which is amazing. Hanzuki was able to get up there as well. That's awesome. They're set up already. It's such a hard comp to beat because you have the high ground and just that Bastion to delete things. And as you can see, it is working to their advantage.
Fall, charging the Doomfist as he comes up for Hanzuki and is able to win this fight so dominantly for the side of Queensguard. And they're looking just about as strong as Project Proteus was on that first attack. Widow, do you think that they're going to be able to take a take off of this?
I think if they play smart enough and use the teleporter and the Bastion to their advantage, and like Bastion bomb, they're going to. But we do see a Bastion on the side of Pro now, and that is going to be an issue for them to deal with. But it does look like they're already going for the flank. We do see Milky, you know, warning them now, hey, this team is here, so they're going to be ready for it. They're already repositioning for it.
Milky almost taking himself off of the map there, but Nathal actually falls off of the map, and that's going to be a hard reset there as Chibi Kitty and Overkill are getting pooped off the map, and Waddle Dee taking out Kazame. This is not looking too good for the side of Queensguard right now, but Hanzuki and Quaking Punch still just kind of chilling up top. Not sure what they're going to try to do here. Make a great escape on a platform?
I don't know, but I'd really like to see them get out. They're going to hard stagger themselves, and I mean, they have plenty of time, don't get me wrong, but this hard stagger just isn't really worth it. It's just free ult charge for the enemy.
Hanzuki's in a lot of trouble here. 1v1ing Sniv actually forces him to back off of that high ground. And now Hanzuki is going to be able to push back to his team as long as Milky doesn't have anything to say about it. But getting deleted by Hanzuki is the Doomfist of Milky. And One Rad Kid taking out Hanzuki, but there go both Reinhardts now from the charge of Nathal, taking out One Rad Kid off of the map. And this is going to be Queensguard opportunity to push in. But Waddle Dee set up in that chokehold is going to be able to deny anybody from getting onto that point.
I really liked the positioning from Waddle Dee there. He saw where the enemy was and he positioned to deny them as much space and as much room as he could. A lot of ults poured in with little to no use. We do see the swap, not the swap, or yeah, they swapped off the Symmetra to the Reaper, which is going to do so much frontline damage. I would almost rather them swap off the Bastion onto a Mei, which is going to do a lot, especially with that that Bastion on the side of Pro. But Pro's playing this really well. They're playing it really smart. They're not blowing cooldowns. They're using their space well.
Had the Bastion tank mode coming out from Hanzuki and deleting Milky almost immediately, but the Baptiste now standing up in top with the window is going to be able to get a ton of heals onto the point, while Waddleby now popping out the Bastion ult as well, not utilizing that window, but it doesn't matter as he's just going to be cleaning up the entire team, taking out the Moira there, and now giving it One Rad Kid the room to move, and is just going to be walking through the rest of Queensguard. As the ultimate comes out from Milky, he's had a couple that I'm not really sure why he's popped them, and this could be trouble for him, but he does end up taking out Kazame on a huge stagger, so ended up playing out a lot better than the previous Doom ult that we saw on the last round.
Yeah, it was definitely a risk to do so, but he ended up getting the value out of it that he needed. Definitely worth it. We'll see if maybe he's going to swap now, but it doesn't look like he is. I do want to see both of our Reinhardts playing a little bit smarter here. You know, Nethel has jumped off the map multiple times, and just want to make sure they're not doing that, because not having your shields here is so detrimental.
Milky picking up Chibi Kitty extremely early, and Hanzuki taking out Milky. Actually took him out before the fight, and the res got used as well. But now Nethal looking to just swing away, but the immortality field is still up, so nothing is going to die in there. Unfortunately, One Rad Kid throwing out that shatter, but it looks like Waddledy had already taken out the two that he was going for. As that Hanzo, switching off of that Bastion onto the Hanzo could be a make or break point for them.
Absolutely, I agree. Hanzo does so much here, and look, he's already at half of his ult. And there is
a huge pick on Hanzuki as well.
Absolutely, yep. He has so much impact as Hanzo. He's able to do so much damage to the shields, and is generally, in this current meta, a much better pick than a Widow. His kit is just so much more set for this meta, between the shield break and the pick potential.
I like the Waddledee's playing up here, knowing that they didn't quite have the respawns, but now he's in a lot of trouble, but is able to get away from that Reinhardt from Nethal, but puts One Rad Kid in a very bad position, is now getting grabbed. This could be the turning point for the side of Queensguard, as Milky and One Rad Kid are both down. Charging through the Dragon is going to be Nethal, trying to take out the whole team now of Project Proteus, going to be taken out by Sniv there. Now it's a 3v3 on the point, as Overkill and Hanzuki and Kazame end up falling. This is looking pretty good still for the side of Project Proteus.
Project Proteus is doing a phenomenal job at holding this. They are just not allowing anything that Queensguard is trying to work. They're just killing the right people at the right times and just making a lot of space for their team. That's a huge arrow onto Nethal, letting he's essentially a walking sonar at that point. Hanzuki gets taken out early, you know. Waddle's doing an amazing job here. Really impressive. It's the first time I've seen him play, and I've got to say, I'm looking forward to more.
Waddledee playing this extremely well, knowing that they're not going to have those respawns, and even if he gets picked off, you know, pretty early from this, he is pretty close to Dragon. He should get back in time to, you know, still take the fight, take over that high ground, and be able to do something for his team. Where, you know, if you play that a little bit slower, you might not be able to do the same thing. But Milky coming in with the big Doomfist ult, not able to do a whole lot there. Doesn't get kills, but does get a lot of damage. Now looking for the tanks here, as he's trying to just come around the backside, but not able to pick up Chibi Kitty as she kind of skates off that wall. Somehow did not impact, but Kazame now on that Pharah, setting up behind, trying to take out that lamp, and does exactly that, as Nethal getting a huge slam, and that should be the point for Queensguard, but the Graviton Surge and the hammer comes down from the side of Project Proteus, and now Milky trying to clean this up, as Sniv is getting 2 and possibly 3 with Kazame floating above the point, and there it is. Now Quaking Punch coming in just to try to stall out overtime, not going to be able to do enough, and that is going to be a draw here on Volskaya Industries.
Droskaya, what did I call it? What did I call it?
It's just 2CP for you.
Yeah, right? 2CP in a nutshell. Really strong plays from both teams. I'm really impressed with the way Project Proteus played that. They should have lost this game so many times, that second point, and they should have won it so many times the first point. So I guess they kind of made up for that. They were doing an amazing job. Really impressed with both Waddle and Milky here. Doofus is such a hard character to play, but he has so much impact and he's played well. He's doing a great job on him.
Both teams had such a strong first point, and then both teams had such a strong defense on second point. played out really well for both sides, and that's exactly why we saw draw very even matched fights all around. And honestly, that's just kind of how it goes sometimes with the 2CP. Is points are made better for defense.
I agree, and I'm very much looking forward to the rest of these maps tonight. These teams look like they are really going neck and neck, and they're gonna keep going toe to toe until someone comes out victorious. I'm excited. They're doing a phenomenal job. Seeing a lot of great plays from everyone. I do want to see both main tanks though play a little bit smarter. A lot of the shatters weren't that great. There were some good shatters, don't get me wrong, but there were some that were like kind of Pepe hands. There were some map deaths that we won't name, but we all do it. We've all jumped off the map by accident, but I want to see a little bit better play from both of them. I think they both really talented main tanks, and I know they got it in them. Hinzuki doing a phenomenal job on the DPS. I'd like to see him play more Mei than Ashe, though. Mei is going to do so much better in a lot of these situations, and I know Ashe is a comfort pick for him. But I know that he's going to be able to do a lot more. But him and Quaking together, now mind you, Quaking and Hinzuki have been playing together since I was on Titans Queensguard. They've been playing together for like a year, almost a year and a half or something like that. So they have a lot of synergy between them. They can 2v6 a team. We saw it happen 3 different times tonight. So I'm really excited for the rest of this evening.
And they were on the team when I was on it as well. But, you were on it before I was. I came in, I don't know, it's been over a year now, so it's been at least a year since I've been here.
Yeah, agreed.
So definitely have that synergy. And that's really showing tonight. And both these teams playing extremely well. Now trying to figure out what the next map is going to be. We're trying to figure out anyway. Nobody's really giving any suggestions. Personally, I suggest a payload map.
Yeah,
I personally suggest payload with the 2CP. I like the control and the hybrid to go together. That's personal preference. It's for viewing experience. They're very different.
Yeah, agreed.
So, payload maps. What map are you hoping for here?
I really love King's Row. It's my favorite map in the whole game.
It's not a payload map.
It's a hybrid. There's a payload on it, but no, Junkertown is probably my favorite escort.
I enjoy Junkertown. It grew on me.
Yeah.
For
I
sure.
also love Route 66. Route 66 just has a lot of fun spots. I'm also a sniper player, so Route 66 just is my playground. As is Junkertown. Junkertown has so many open sight lines. So many fun little dumb spots you can hang on. I love hanging on that metal wall panel in the middle, like at the top of that one big wall in Junkertown. It's so funny standing there because you're shooting at things and they're like, wait, what? And then they find you.
Oh, I know what you're
down. Yeah, it's such a dumb little spot. And I remember the day I found it, I was just like, wait, what? But it looks like we're doing Dorado, which I'm also cool with. I just love all the escort maps.
I don't think there's an escort map that I hate, honestly.
Yeah, right? They're just nice.
Junkertown definitely took a little bit of time to grow on me. I wasn't a huge fan of it because it was very just, play pirate ship and kind of just win.
Very true.
But, it was also hadn't been a lot of pirate ship played, which was kind of weird as to why all of a sudden Junkertown was like, hey, just play pirate ship. Doesn't matter. Just do it and you win. Automatic. But if you dislodge that Bastion, then then they kind of have to swap off and you make things. But we are seeing Dorado, so enough of Junkertown.
Yeah, I think the devs have also done a really good job of making pirate ship something that's not as terrible as it used to be. Don't get me wrong, a Mercy and a Bat with a pirate ship is actually the most toxic thing on the face of the earth. But Sombra's hack is faster, she's able to get in and out, the Mei is huge, the Doom is huge, Reaper's huge. There's so many different things you can do into this. Even the Junkrat, as stupid as Junkrat is, he just rips through pirate ship because he does so much damage. Without even trying, he just presses M1 without moving and it's dead. So I think pirate ship used to be a much bigger issue than it was, but it's nice to see that we're not seeing double shield. Oh, wait, I lied, double shield on Queen's Guard, but it's nice to see, yeah, but you know what? Double shield isn't a bad idea on defense. It's really strong. But this dive is going to be great. Let's see if they can get any real use out of it. They don't really have anything on the side of Queen's Guard to stop a dive. They really don't.
Milky does seem to be doing pretty well on that Doomfist tonight. I'm looking for Doshin Cheese to go for a boop to dislodge the double shield bunker on the top. And it looks like they're going to do exactly that, going for the underground, but One Rad Kid taking a little bit of a different approach and taking some early poke damage, but Milky getting deleted by Hanzuki immediately, and there's nobody on payload right now. They could be getting a ton of progress, and it looks like Waddle Dee has noticed that and is going to start pushing it just a little. Hunter Ghost now getting that res onto Milky, and Milky immediately gets deleted again by Nathal, as One Rad Kid is kind of just deep into the team, looking pretty low, and is eventually going to fall to Quaking Punch as Sniv takes out the Pharah of Kazume, and now looking pretty solid here for the side of Project Proteus. Sniv getting demeched, unfortunately, by Kazume, and Kazume is just going to clean up now. Waddle Dee going to be the only fighting one on that front line as Milky goes for the back line, going to get rocked by the Sigma, and is going to be able to get out, maybe, but not quite, as Kazume ends up coming down from the skies and taking him out.
So the comp that Propo is playing is actually very strong against the comp that Queen's Guard is playing, but they're not playing it correctly. They need to have their tanks diving in one side with their supports and their DPS coming in from the back. Waddle needs to hack something, and then Doomfist needs to go in. They need to wombo combo one target at a time. Go for that Hanzuki Ash, who's doing so much. Go for that Mercy. Go for that Moira. Pick a target and kill it. They need to turn the fight into a 5v6 to have any chance of winning, and they're not doing that.
Milky switching over to that Widow, but immediately getting deleted by Kazume as Doshin Cheese falls to Nathal, and Hunter Ghost is going to end up rezzing Milky, but I'm not sure how much that's going to be able to do against this double barrier, as the Bob comes down and is going to run way too far to be able to do a whole lot of anything, but will cut off people from coming back to the spot.
That Bob is actually doing a lot of silence if you think about it. That entire corridor is now the danger. They couldn't stand there at all, so it really forced them into a small little hallway, and with Kazume on that Pharah, it was just able to launch so much damage into them because they had nowhere else to go.
Now, One Rad Kid getting a little bit of burn damage, but isn't going to matter a whole lot. But Kazume and Chibi Kitty have that pharmacy going, and Kazume has just been doing so much work so far this game, and is now being pocketed by Chibi Kitty, and setting up on the high ground here is going to be able to get a lot of work done, as Doshin Cheese might be looking to dislodge it, but there's not much you can do against a pharmacy as Lucio. But Milky and Waddle Dee going in, taking out one apiece as the Diva Bomb comes out and getting blocked by the Sigma shield, but now Sigma has nothing to defend himself with, as Overkill looking for the rock, gonna be able to hit One Rad Kid as One Rad Kid pops out that Primal Rage. Waddle Dee taken out too, and the Primal Rage is just creating so much space. The Sigma falls right as he goes to pop ultimate, and it gets cancelled. Overkill maybe getting a little overzealous on that ultimate, trying to save the point, just wasn't able to pull it off.
Who is this man? Who is
Waddle Dee
has literally been the only person to kill him for like a minute. Jesus, who is this man? Oh my god. I have no words. Who is this man? That's it.
He's still doing it too.
Yeah.
He's still going. And Milky taking out Quaking Punch. Now, One Rad Kid gonna be the one to push payload here as Kazume takes out Doshin Cheese on the Lucio. Sniv getting Nathal as the Dragon Strike and High Noon come out, but not able to pick up quite anything. Sniv taking out that Bongo and pushing everyone into that church. Not exactly the place you want to be against a dive comp. Able to get a ton of cleave damage. Now Kazume is just looking for something here, but Waddle Dee is gonna get taken out. Thought he was gonna take out Kazume. Ends up getting the headshot, but now Pro is pushing so strong forward, and the Bob comes out onto point. Should get burned pretty quickly here with the sound barrier onto Project Proteus. And now Nathal coming back on that Reinhardt, gonna be able to swing away, but not for too long. After he takes out Milky, immediately falls.
Hanzuki did a really good job keeping his team in the game right there. They probably would have free pushed that had Hanzuki not gotten those picks really quickly. I really want to see Kazi kind of swap off this Doomfist, though. With Waddle's McCree being as good as it is, I don't think he's going to get much more value out of it. He's not able to really make space. Hanzuki, on the other hand, is really doing a really good job, able to take a lot of aggression here. See Waddle going in for the flank, probably going to contest Hanzuki, which is really nice because he doesn't seem to be paying attention to it at all.
The dive now onto the Reinhardt and Sigma. Snithal switching off of that Orisa, probably the better call here, but Waddle Dee still just picking apart the team. Queensguard able to take out Chibi Kitty, and the Coalescence coming out now with the Dragon Strike not taking out anyone. Not even going to touch anyone. Sniv pressuring off Hanzuki. Hanzuki falling dangerously low, but is able to make it out just barely alive as Quaking Punch able to heal him up, but will get taken out as well. And there comes the Bob. Bob now looking to do something in the back of point, and is actually getting a ton of damage output here as Nathal is able to clean up everything that Bob just did.
Hanzuki's Bobs don't necessarily get the kills, but they deny so much space and do so much initial damage that the rest of their team would just kind of go in and play aggressively, treat him like, you know, he's this massive ult, like a Diva Bomb that zones and everything. Doing a really, really great job here. I do, however, want to see better uses of the Hanzo ult. Oh, well, he switched now, but the Hanzo ult was not getting any value. It's the sort of ult that you could have flanked with and done so much with. But now the swap onto the Mei is actually going to be huge. You're going to wall things off and be able to get that aggression that they need.
Project Proteus approaching around the backside, but Doshin Cheese falls extremely early as well as Hunter goes. This is going to be not a good fight, but Waddle Dee ends up taking out Hanzuki and Chibi Kitty as Nathal takes out One Rad Kid. This is going to be a huge push for the point, but now Milky and Sniv going to be the two on it as Nathal is going to get taken out extremely quickly, and Project Proteus is looking pretty good here, but the shield comes out just a little bit too far as it's a double kill for Sniv with the Diva Bomb onto Overkill and Quaking Punch. This should be the point cap as long as they can keep them off of this payload for just a little bit longer. And you might want to get 3 on point here just to push a little bit faster with that Mei wall up. But now, Transcendence coming out from Chibi Kitty is going to be huge, able to get the whole team, keep them alive, and not getting charged out by the Reinhardt is definitely crucial there, but Sniv and One Rad Kid not getting pulled up by that Gravitic Flux is going to be crucial as Chibi Kitty taking out One Rad Kid as Overkill, getting a huge Gravitic Flux, able to do a ton of work.
Queensguard was able to just come in and really do a lot of work there. Unfortunately, when One Rad Kid charged in there, he left his team defenseless, and they were able to just do so much damage on them, and by the time he turned around, it was too late. Sorry, everyone's things are gone. Kazime, I did doubt him on that Doomfist, but he ended up turning it around really well. Waddle Dee was able to just do so much pressing W, but as soon as they got a little too aggressively, Queensguard matched that aggression. Queensguard is doing a really good job of mirroring the aggression, if not aggressing further onto Pro. They're kind of reading them and then fighting them back with it. They give them a second, a push or two to kind of gauge what they're doing, and then they come back strong. You can tell the communication on that team is super duper strong in there. Their synergy is just nuts. But really big bombs from Sniv as well, and really good ults that last point to get them that little extra space, but we'll see what happens here. We have another Sombra.
We are going to see the Rhine Sigma from both sides, and you know, this Rhine Sigma seemed to work out pretty well at the end there for Queensguard, so I'm definitely interested to see how Project Proteus runs it. They are also going to have the Bastion and the Doomfist along with the Mercy and BAP, so you're going to be pocketing that Bastion pretty hard. While your Doomfist kind of just goes in, does a little bit of work, gets out, you know, gets that huge burst damage, and able to just really mess up your team. But Kazame on that Sombra, probably predicting the Bastion here for the defense. Gonna look for a big hack, maybe just scouting here as the rest of Queensguard is just kind of sitting in spawn. Not a whole lot to be done yet as Milky is trying to look to set up, but now has no cooldown, so he's going to have to just wait a second here. Waddle Dee getting hacked, and that's going to be the push now that should come out for the side of Queensguard, and Milky trying to go in really deep here, missing the rock from Overkill onto Milky is not going to be the best thing that happens here, but Waddle Dee just able to sit up there and get tons of value out of that Bastion.
It's also got the Lego Bastion skin, which just makes it a better Bastion than the rest.
It's so quiet.
It is, it's so silent, it's disgusting. But there was a really, really good play on the side of Pro. You know, that Bastion did get hacked, but they immediately started to play because of that hack. Milky went in, played aggressive, and kind of distracted the team, giving Waddle enough time to reposition himself and step back up so he was safe.
Smoke him out of there. See you later.
Kazume getting a crucial hack onto Milky, not able to finish that off, and they really just have to get to this Bastion. As soon as they get to this Bastion, it should be a pretty easy fight for them. But until then, they're going to have to wait on Overkill to get back, as Milky ends up taking him out pretty quickly. And now, huge Meteor Strike is going to take out Chibi Kitty and deny any more of that ult charge for now. But Milky looking extremely low and ends up getting taken out by Kazume, but they're still going to have to wait on respawns here. Hanzuki getting taken out as well is going to be really critical for them. And the big slam coming out, actually, I can't see what's going on in here from Nathal. And Immortality Field is going to be huge, as One Rad Kid is going to be able to just kind of walk through and clean up. They need to regroup. Been staggered for way too long.
I agree. They're going in one by one, and they're not charging all as quickly as they can. Kaze needs to try and get hacks on one of these two tanks and just farm them. Get in there with the support. Hacking the Bastion is super great, but they're hacking the Bastion and then it's not getting followed up on. Sombra's only as good as your follow-up, and if you have no follow-up, Sombra's not the pick. You're better off with anything else. Milky's also not getting punished for a lot of things he should be getting punished for.
Huge gravitic flux coming out in the staircase, and this is definitely a weird spot to watch a fight from, as Nathal gets taken out by Milky, and now the fight is going down the corridor through the barrels, and Chibi Kitty trying to get out and just does make it, as Waddledee getting rezzed in the bottom. Kazume taking out Doshin Cheese somewhere. I'm not really sure what's going on. These fights are so split. Kazume looking for Milky, able to get the EMP off, but it's not going to be the best play there, as, ooh, a huge gravitic flux, but again is not going to have the follow-up to matter. Nathal trying to take out One Rad Kid is not quite able to get him, but may fall here as Overkill getting the final blow onto One Rad Kid. The Coalescence coming out now from Quaking Punch, going for that DPS Moira strat. Trying to get Hunter Ghost here, taking him out with the Coalescence, and this is honestly looking like a pretty good push for the side of Queensguard, taking out Milky as well. Now, Waddledee sitting in that Immortality Field. The huge slam onto Quaking Punch, and Sniv is going to clean this up for them. Now, One Rad Kid sitting in the alleyway with Waddledee, and as long as they just block that off, it should be a point cap, and it is. Kazume kidding around for the flank onto Waddledee and One Rad Kid 2v1ing in that alley, and that's going to be huge for them as they have to wait on those respawns on the long spawn.
Seems like McCree is the answer tonight. Every time the team's about to lose, McCree pops out and it's like flips it around. Waddledee was doing a really good job in the Bastion, but they started playing a little too aggressively, they started playing a little too split, and they got punished for it. There was a lot of punishment that should have happened earlier on, but it looks like Queensguard, again, started to read them, picked up that book and opened it and realized what they were doing.
Chibi Kitty, the solo Lucio here on the cart, and counterpunching that Ryan to knock him down is going to be crucial, and Kazume taking out the Bastion here. The huge gravitic flux going to be able to get nothing, actually, as it actually helps Hanzuki take out Milky. Hunter Ghost getting that res, and Nathal taking out One Rad Kid as they are up a Reinhardt now. Going to be able to push extremely strong here. Queensguard now has to take out that lamp and try to finish up these kills with Waddledee in that configuration tank mode, and now out of it, but the Doomfist ult comes down and is not able to kill anybody just yet. The huge ult from Kazume ends up taking out Doshin Cheese, but doesn't quite get Waddledee as he ends up gunning him down in turret form. Now Nathal trying to look for something here, trying to get past that shield to get onto this Orisa and the Sigma here, as Hunter Ghost is kind of in a bad spot, really out in the open, but it's not going to matter too much when you've got a Bastion that you can just res and will be able to guard you again. But there comes the Shatter, and the Shatter's absolutely huge if they can get onto Hunter Ghost, but not quite, as nothing falls from that Shatter. Hanzuki getting the kill onto One Rad Kid with the flashbang, actually. Waddledee doing still tons of work back here, just sitting back in the Mercy pocket, able to just gun down so much damage. The huge gravitic flux, but the Bastion is dead as Hanzuki gets two, and so does Sniv. This is now looking pretty good for the side of Project Proteus. Overkill and Chibi Kitty, the last two on the point to try to keep this alive. Milky and Hunter Ghost and One Rad Kid now coming back in. This is looking pretty solid for Project Proteus, and Queensguard is going to have to fall.
They played that so smart there. Propo was really just like, okay, we're down two, great, let's ult. And they realized, okay, we got two big picks, it's time to play aggressively, and they did. Hunter pulled out the Battle Mercy. We love the Battle Mercy.
Ooh, Hunter falling extremely low, but ends up surviving just barely as Waddle Dee is actually going to go up onto the high ground and look for a configuration tank flank, and not able to get a whole lot of damage done here quite yet, as Overkill is placing that shield extremely well to block off all of that damage. But now Waddle Dee, set up onto that high ground, is going to be able to just melt Nathal and his shield as the rest of the team gets grouped up by One Rad Kid and is now getting melted. But Hanzuki getting tons of damage, and there comes the High Noon, able to get out Toast and Cheese, and it's a 2v5 now on the point with Chibi Kitty popping that huge bongo as two tanks and a healer now from the side of Project Proteus is gonna have to try to keep this fight alive. Now the Doomfist going out at Quaking Punch, popping that Coalescence, able to get 2, possibly 3 here, looking for the supports, ended up getting 2, but the ball actually keeping it alive as Sniv in that Immortality field. So far, Doshin Shi is going to be the only one left, and that is going to be point grab and map win for Queensguard.
It was a really close game, a lot of back and forth. Really amazing plays on the side of Waddle Dee this game. Just did a really good job, had a really smart positioning, played super aggressively. There is a Bastion play of the game from him. Again, really good plays also from Quaking Punch, doing a really good job of keeping his team alive or stalling when he needed. This kid. Who is this man?
You know, I'm not really sure.
I don't know, but he's a god.
Alright, and I believe we are going into halftime now. I think we did that for the last one. Did we? I think so.
Yeah, I think we had a halftime.
Oh.
Yes.
Okay, so we will be going into halftime as Queensguard is actually up 1-0 after map 2. Gonna be a draw on that first map, so we will be seeing our last 2 maps of the night after this break.
Devil in a red dress, call 911, I'm a killer. You know I hate to confess. Bang bang, got my hand on the trigger. The devil in a red dress, call 911, I'm a killer. You know I hate to confess. Bang bang, got my hand, call 911.
one, hog one. Heals.
Coming back.
Nope, well.
Teddy's popping.
Yeah, I am.